Good morning, dear students. Let us start our physics class for today. We are at the last part of our chapter, wherein we will learn about the defects of the human eye. Up till now, we have learned about the structure of the human eye, all the different parts and their functions. Today, we will learn about what are the defects if the normal eye is not working properly. That means it is the ciliary muscles are not able to contract and relax properly and not able to change the focal length of the lens. Then the proper images are not obtained on the retina, right? Whether the nearby objects appear blurred or the far off objects appear blurred, or both of these objects appear blurred to us. What are these defects? How can they be cured? This we will learn in today's class. So these are the two types of defects, basically the short-sightedness or myopia and long-sightedness or hypermetropia. So as you can see in the picture, in a myopic eye, the this image which has to form on the retina is formed somewhere before the retina, not on the retina. Okay, and this can be corrected by using a concave lens of appropriate focal length when the normal vision can be restored. A myopic eye is very easily able to decipher all what is nearer. That means all the nearby objects can be seen clearly, but the far away objects appear blurred. Okay, by using a concave lens, this defect can be cured. The second type of defect is hypermetropia or long-sightedness. The vision has become long. That means we are able to see far off objects very clearly, but the nearby objects appear blurred to us. They are not clear. We are not able to distinguish between the letters written on a book or a copy. So what happens? The ciliary muscles are not able to relax properly, so that the focal length cannot be altered as much it should be altered. So the image which has to form on the retina again is formed behind the retina. Okay, somewhere far away from the retina, not on the retina. So now if a convex lens is used, the image can be easily focused on the retina and we are easily able to see the images, right? The far off objects also can appear easily more clearly to us. Okay, children. So these are the three types of defects that we have learnt in the class. First one is myopia or short-sightedness. Second is hypermetropia or far-sightedness or long-sightedness. And third one is about presbyopia. Okay, so these defects will be corrected by using the spherical lenses, either concave or convex lens. Now see, how does the eye become myopic? You can see in this picture, in this video, that the rays which are coming are converging before the retina. Actually they should form on the retina, so that the image is taken by the is converted by the retina into electrical pulses and sent by the optic nerve to the brain. But it so happens that in case of a myopic eye, when we are not able to see far off objects clearly, the image is obtained somewhere before the retina, not on the retina. Okay, so if we use a concave lens, what will happen? By using a concave lens, the image will be obtained now on the retina. These are the cases where the myopic eye is there and the person gets to see the image which is very blurred or far off objects. Now if you place this in the correction, if you place a concave lens of appropriate focal length, what will happen? The rays will be made to converge at a point which is on the retina. Okay, so the image can be clearly obtained, and then the electrical pulses can be sent to the brain and we are able to interpret the proper image. In case of hypermetropia, as you can see, the this rays which have to converge on the retina are now converging or meeting somewhere behind the retina. Okay, so this way we are able to see the far off objects clearly, but the nearby objects appear blurred to us. In case of the normal eye, the converging should occur on the retina, right? So that the image can be easily obtained and interpreted by the brain. But if it is a hypermetropic eye, what will happen? The far away objects will be clear, but the nearby objects will not be clear, because the converging again will occur somewhere behind the retina, not on the retina. So for this correction, we use a convex lens. When we use a convex lens, the rays can easily meet at a point somewhere on the retina and the image can be easily obtained. Okay. Now presbyopia results with the age. If a person ages, he gets to see the images, but they are very blurred. Even far off objects and the nearer objects, both the images are extremely blurred sometimes. So in such cases, both the defects are occurring at the same time. A person is not able to see far off objects also clearly, and nearby objects also appear blurred. Such case is called presbyopia, third defect of the eye. Right? How can we correct presbyopia? By using a concave and convex lenses both. A bifocal lens can be used to correct the defects, because both the defects are at the same time. So in case of presbyopia, a person is supposed to use both the lenses. Right? And this presbyopia usually occurs due to age, when the lens becomes stiff. It is not able to change its focal length easily. Right? The contraction and relaxation of the ciliary muscles is affected, and the lens cannot change the focal length also easily, because the lens also thickens. It becomes stiff due to age. Okay. Okay, children. So next phenomena that we will learn about is persistence of vision. What does it mean? Is simply that an image formed on the retina will last for about 1/16th of a second. Okay, so if you see an object, the image will be formed on the retina and it will last for 1/16th of a second. You just know that the object is in front of you. You are able to see that object. But after that object is removed, even then, that image is there on the retina of your eye. Okay, so for example, if another object comes there, it will not replace the image formed the first. That will still be there. Then the second image will be obtained. So this is how we get to see the images. The illusion is created. Okay, for example, if you see in this picture, there are actually two slides, wherein one is having the picture of a cage, the other is having a bird. If you move, other side of the coin is a bird, one side is the cage. If you happen to move it very rapidly, what will happen? After some time, you will see that the bird is sitting inside the cage. Why is it so? Because the image of the cage has not gone from your retina. Then the image of the bird is formed. So they overlap each other. These images overlap. This creates many a time so many illusions. We see something which is actually straight, you move it very rapidly, it appears square or round. Okay, so this is all due to the phenomena called persistence of vision. What does persistence of vision means? Simply that the image will last on the retina for about 1/16th of a second, after which it vanishes. Okay. Now, children, we will know about the types of blindness. Okay, how is blindness caused? It can be by birth, it can be by accident also. Now, there are two types of blindness. First is the one which can be cured. Okay, there's a cure for that type of blindness. It is called temporary or curable blindness. In this case, either of the two things can happen, that the cornea, which is the transparent tissue is present in the front of the eye, it becomes opaque, or the crystalline lens, that is the double convex lens, it becomes opaque. Either ways, both are replaceable. Okay, cornea can be replaced from a donated this cornea of an eye of a dead person who has donated his eyes. From there, the healthy cornea can be grafted in place of the opaque cornea, and so the eye, this vision can be restored. In a blind person, he can easily see things. Otherwise, if the lens is opaque, then also the image will not be obtained on the retina. So this lens is also replaceable. Either we get a healthy lens from a donated eye, or nowadays we also have artificial lenses. These lenses can be grafted, and the one which is opaque can be easily removed. So the vision of the person is restored in this case. That is why it is called a curable or temporary blindness. In case of the incurable blindness, the person is rendered blind or visually challenged if it happens so that the image, even though it is formed on the retina, it cannot be sent to the brain. So retina either is not able to this form the images, or it is not able to send these images to the brain through the optic nerve. In either case, the retina or optic nerve are not working properly. In such a case, the person is permanently blind. He is not able to see anything, and there is no cure for such blindness. It is called a permanent type of blindness if the retina or optic nerves are not working properly. Okay, so what is done with these people? How can they learn to read and write? They learn to read and write through a language which is specially developed for them, which is called Braille. You all must have heard about Braille. It was discovered by Sir Louis Braille, who himself was visually challenged, and he really wanted to read and learn things. So he invented this dot system, which was later on called Braille in his honor. This is actually the embossing of the dots. Right, each and every rectangular this portion which is made is called a cell of the braille. In that cell there are 1 dots, 2 dots, up to 6 dots in each cell. This is how the letters are written. Okay, as you can see in this picture, the cells are having either 1 dot or up to 6 dots, not more than that. So each and every alphabet is formed by using the pattern of the dots, which can be felt by the people. If they move their fingers on the dots, they will be able to distinguish between the two cells. For example, in between A and G, they will be able to distinguish one is having 1 dot, the other is having 4 dots. This is how they learn to read and write, and can even graduate from the colleges. They are having their degrees nowadays. They are learning to read newspapers. They are learning to read these magazines. All are printed in Braille. The Braille has developed a lot since this ancient times. In 19th century, a lot of work was done on Braille. It was handwritten in those days. Nowadays, everything is computerized. So now we have so many books being translated to Braille. The visually challenged people themselves are helping in translation of these books. So we have in all the languages the books are available to make it easy for the people. They are also available for science and technology and maths. Even these books nowadays are available in the Braille, so that the visually challenged people also can learn all these subjects. It has made it a lot easier for them to this develop their whatever their literary habits, and they've become great scholars. They have graduated from colleges. They have learned. They have made a mark for themselves. There are many visually challenged people who, although they were blind, but they have made a mark for themselves throughout the world. Okay, so this finishes our chapter for light. I hope you've learned whatever was taught. Any doubts, you can get them clear in the online classes. All the best. Prepare well for the exam. Goodbye. Thank you so much.